live recording of Ask a Mom, and then my computer froze right as I was, talking about the Illuminati. So that's fun. Um, but that was just absolute coincidence and the joys of unstable internet because, you know, my house, we use that bandwidth. Um, but Hubs was homesick today because baby girl was sick all weekend because she works with grimy little kids whose hands and everything just germ central, and now that's being brought into our house again, which I am not excited about, and yeah, not even a little bit. But I finished taxes and thankfully will not be paying any. Well, I think I owe the state some money, but I don't mind owing the state money and paying them back because Governor Spamberger is amazing, and so there's that. Let's see what else has occurred today. Yeah, it's a Monday, and Mondays are just as mundane as ever. So what I was talking about, I was finally getting to the good parts of data and where things are located and how all of the fun of OSINT comes in. So, even though I have to re-record and go through all of that again, that's okay, because I have fixed my whiteboard to make it look pretty instead of making it on the fly, because, that's how I do everything, is I just kind of fly by the seat of my pants. And I know, so tech, I love it. AI, I have a love-hate relationship with. And I've talked about this maybe before, I don't know. My hubby hates it with a burning passion. However, I understand it a little differently than he does. And because I understand it a little differently, I very much know and understand that each AI depends on the model, the data. How do you say that? Data. I don't know. Sometimes I say data, other times I say data. And there's lots of words like that where I'll say it, like I'll pronounce it one way, or two different ways. I don't know. Anyhow. So, yeah, that's what I was working on today, is really looking at the data piece of technology and the implications of knowledge. Because, you see, knowledge is power, or so it says in a book somewhere. And I'm really excited about how I've kind of started doing my whiteboard for the data and information piece as we're looking at what data is included in what and what pot. And that's super fun because of really, and it goes with data as well as with like finances and how businesses kind of dictate what pays for what, and that even mirrors and kind of goes out even more from there on how contracts and all of that kind of play in the loop of information. So I saw, and I haven't checked it out yet, I really need to, but I saw some super smart, amazing person posted on GitHub their job search guide of an application that will basically take your resume, rewrite it, like create a new CV for every job they're applying for, apply for them all across. And if you are in the job market right now, apparently dude got a job with it, and then so the job market right now is god fucking awful. And part of that comes back to the whole information piece of who is controlling the narrative, and understanding who's controlling the narrative is done through various silos or echo chambers of information. And you have to look that each organization is its own echo chamber. So you have, and by organization, I mean like organization, platform, all of that stuff. They're all their own thing. And whether they call themselves a think tank or not, they operate as a think tank. So, there we go. So, depending on the organization you work for, you're going to be exposed to different things. And each organization has their own rules and regulations to work for them, and who can work for them, and all of that stuff. So that's where now we've got the governing bodies who are saying, hey, this is how you can do blah, 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 blah. This is what we need. And then you have all of the organizations coming together going, hey, we need people for these jobs. And you have to look at like when the different job openings are coming down, because the other thing is they'll put out, hey, we have this position, but they don't really have that position. They're just hoping that maybe their proposal will, win out, and they'll get access to whatever work it is. And this goes for literally government contracts all up and down the supply chain of local, state, federal levels. So they do that, and then you have someone come to you and it's like, hey, we have this position we would like to fill. We'll give you X amount of money if you say you'll be a part of our team. And that's what happened when I had to tell them, no, sorry, the current administration is all sorts of corrupt and jacked, and I cannot be a part of that right now. Not going back to a toxic work environment. Oh, yay, I got like 15 minutes. You guys get all the fun as I wait for baby girl. So, where was it? Okay, yeah, so government contracts. So, October is the new government fiscal year. April is the new business fiscal year because of taxes and whatnot. And the way all of that ends up playing out is we have taxes, however, much said taxes are, we pay them to the federal government. The federal government goes, ooh, money, 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 takes all of our money. Then they send that money back out in the form of payment for work that's supposed to start on October 1st. And when these different things happen is all different. But all of these money, whether it's taxes, whether it's, something else, they have their own, buckets of money. And the way they'll talk about it is, when it comes to new work, you have to find the proper vehicle for said work. And the vehicle is just the pot of money. So all of this is going on. And you have individuals who are like, hey, we need you to come and do this work for us. Will you say you'll work with us if we get this work? And there's no guarantee that they are going to be the one who gets the work, but then they have partnerships with, there are different, like I said, there are different pots of money. Some of that money is set aside for small businesses. Some of that money is set aside for big business. And it all depends on how much each of those businesses make in any given year. And as all of these contracts are going all around like that, people can also protest them. And you protest them by saying, hey, that one wasn't fair, something happened, blah, blah, blah. And depending on the contract, there's a good chance that someone is going to protest something and hope that maybe a second look at it is going to give them a shot at actually getting the contract itself. But in the knowing and understanding the system of everything going any which way, you have individuals like the Trump family who understands how the various contracts work, and I need to find money for this, and along those same things, in order to get more money, you have to be able to prove your worth, essentially. Otherwise, you lose that money. And you have until the end of the year, so the fiscal year for government, October to September, you have that time to spend the money. And if you don't spend the money, you don't get the money. But the thing is it's not you don't get the money this year, you have to give it back. It's no, you don't get the money next year or the following year because obviously you didn't need the money. So if there's ever like a delay in resources or anything like that, can play into the facts of whether or not these contracts are being done. Well, then another layer of that is you have all these pots of money, and they're like, hey, this is for X, and this is for Y, and this is for Z. There are some of those that are kind of available to be moved around to the money. Now, all of this then comes into the realm of who's doing the work, what is the work, and like what is the mission of said work. So right now, the military industrial base is the largest pot of money that the U.S. government spends. And there are many reasons for that, but the biggest reason, in my humble opinion, is that the military has a very specific job. And their job is basically to make friends with other militaries in other countries. And I say make friends because of we have various agreements, and all of these agreements have their own price tag of we promise to give you one of ours if you give us one of yours. And like when was it? There was a while ago when Trump had said like Iran could send some people and they were going to be on a base in Idaho. I think I'm remembering that right. I don't remember. I'm trying to do this off the top of my head, and I don't have all the resources in front of me. So, anyhow. So then we have all these pots of money, all of these people pinging all over the place, and now we're at the point where people are going, well, fuck. We don't know who's on our team and who's on the other team. And in the joys of wargaming, if you don't know who's on your team, you don't know who to trust. If you don't know who you can trust, you end up doing a lot of work on your own. And that's kind of where I am right now in the realm of, world domination. Is that I have a team. They're fucking awesome, by the way, but my team, they're like me, a bunch of poor kids who are way too smart for their own damn good. And at the same point, they don't, when resources are low, it's really hard to pull on the heartstrings in order to get something from them and be like, hey, I know you have no job and no money and no anything, but we're trying to figure it out. So, can you like work for free for a little bit? And that is how startups work. So you end up in this center, essentially, where you have a team, but none of y'all have money. You have an idea, but you don't have that venture capital. And when I say venture capital, what that really is either you need a, you know, a sugar mama, sugar daddy, whatever you want to call them, who are going to give you money just for the hell of it, or you have to find someone who like understands exactly what you're talking about. However, in the technology realm, that's even more difficult because now you are running the risk of competition, and everyone's trying to just get ahead faster than the other person. See that fun stuff? So, this is total side note. I have gotten this stuff since I was a kid. It shows up usually around, when germs are all in the air. And the doctors are like, oh, she'll grow out of it. I turned 40 this year, and I have yet to grow out of it. So, that's fun. And it's breaking out pretty bad right now. So, yeah. Gotta love that. Anywho, totally off topic. But, so, we're in this cycle of looking at proposals and looking at who we're able to work with, that we want to work with, that we feel comfortable working with, because, again, we don't want to work with fascists. So, as, like, beggars can't be choosers, but also, I don't know. I refuse to get to the point that I will allow my morals, and when I say my morals, I mean, I'm a bit of a hoe. So, and I say that jokingly, but also, like, my kids know this. Mostly because I tell them that, listen, like, there's nothing you can't talk to me about. But all of that to say, there are some things I'm willing to do to pay the bills. Work with fascists is not one of them. So, all right, baby girl's here. Tomorrow I'm gonna hopefully get that video up, and we'll go from there. Hey, baby girl.
You're making me work for it.
Oh, for